Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. We have Cassidy back today.
What up, guys?
We are going to be talking about sleep paralysis.
Ooh.
And I wasn't expecting this, but I actually got scared during my research. I watched a documentary that we're going to talk about because there's a lot of stories in there. And it was so creepy and so heavy to watch. I had to stop working on the podcast for a bit that day because I was like, oh my God, I was so scared.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, thank God Maddie was home that night because I was afraid that because I was researching it and stuff that it was going to happen to me that night. But nothing yet. I've never experienced sleep paralysis,
Oh, I have.
and I can't wait to hear about that. So for the episode today, we're going to talk about the documentary I watched. It's called The Nightmare. And then we're going to talk about the overarching themes that are in different people's stories in the documentary that are connected. And then we'll talk about the science behind sleep paralysis and what scientists have to say or their theories. And that's about it.
Sounds good to me.
So let's get into it. I'm Annelise.
And I'm Cassidy.
And this is Spirit Static. I guess I didn't really research the exact definition, but it's when your body is not paralyzed, but your muscles can't move during REM sleep, and it's for a scientific reason. Your body kind of shuts down, and you can get stuck in between a state of being asleep and being awake, where your body is paralyzed and stuck, but you're still kind of dreaming or seeing things. And a lot of people have really scary experiences, and we're going to talk about why that happens or what scientists have to say. But obviously there are other opinions too when it comes to the spiritual world. So,
okay,
yeah.
That's interesting to hear that description because that's what I had gathered that it was.
Yeah. I think it would be a good idea to have you share your experiences first if you want to.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, so honestly, my experiences, I don't have in-depth description of them, but what I can tell you is this. I vividly remember being in that dreamlike state and being face to face with an entity. But I was at the point where it was almost like I felt like I was awake, but and I knew I was asleep,
Okay.
but I couldn't get out of that. But I was face to face and this entity I was trying to yell a prayer out loud at it because it was it was evil, it was demonic, it was face to face with me. And the terror I felt in that moment and not being able to get away from that was the scariest thing I've ever experienced. And so I was screaming a prayer out loud at it. And it was muting my voice. So I couldn't yell or I couldn't pray out loud. And that was the scariest thing because I don't know if you've ever tried screaming and had your voice stuck.
Not work.
It wasn't working. So it was the scariest feeling of trying to scream for help but not able to. And when I woke up from that state, my fiancé had been laying next to me and he told me that I sounded like a deer. That was the only thing that he said.
So creepy.
He said he was trying to shake me because I was making weird deer noises. And I was like, "Did you not hear me praying?" And he was like, "No." And I was like, "I was literally screaming at an entity."
Oh my God.
And it was weird because when I got up from I woke up, I guess I'd say, from that experience, I was in this dazed state for a minute where I just had to sit back and analyze. I just felt so foggy and just trying to take in the fact that oh my gosh, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Because it was so real to me.
Yeah. In the moment, were you thinking this is, I mean, it could be real, but were you thinking this is 100% real in the moment?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I was face to face with it. And I really do believe to this day that that was a spiritual attack. And I know that evil doesn't like good.
Yeah.
And so I felt if I prayed, it would ward that evil entity away. And so that's why I was saying a prayer out loud. But to have my voice muted like that and not be able to scream was, I just can't even explain that terror feeling.
It's you're helpless.
I was helpless.
And almost it's almost like torture.
It was, because you think someone could take away your physical, like, your ability to punch, your ability to fight, but to take away your voice is such an insane strength.
Yeah.
So, that power over me felt so scary, and so that's what I've experienced multiple times in a row. I'd say
Okay.
about 3 times in my life, but it was, like, the same experience each time.
Okay. And it was the entity was in front of your face.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was, like, face to face with it, and all I can say now, like, looking back, it was just black. Like,
Huh.
it wasn't a specific face that I saw or anything like that, but it was, like, a very evil
Mhm.
presence,
Mhm.
and I can tell you that, like, I was in my room, I was in my bed, I knew exactly where I was at, where I was, like, everything was like, I knew.
Yeah.
So that's what was weird about it. I was half awake, half asleep. It was the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
But in my case, I didn't feel like my body was technically paralyzed, but it was my voice per se.
Mhm. It still sounds like sleep paralysis for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I would say that's the closest thing, like, that's what I felt I experienced.
Mhm.
Um, it was pretty scary.
How old were you the 2 other times that happened?
Well, okay, so the last time I experienced it was, like, 2 years ago, and so I'm 28 now, so 26, and then
Okay.
I would say before that was, like, maybe a year or 2 before that, and then the same thing again.
Okay.
It's, like, once every couple years.
Okay. Oh my
Um
god. Yeah, it's your time.
I know.
Fuck, sorry.
I
I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't
That's
say
so
that.
awful.
No, it's not your time.
But, like, I
It's
do
not gonna happen.
believe that, like, during those times, because this is so weird, I was thinking back, like, "Okay, did I watch a scary movie before I went to bed? Was I looking into scary stuff?" And no, like, there wasn't any commonality with
Mhm.
any of that. I wasn't under a significant amount of stress during those times in my
Yeah, like a
life,
trigger.
like a trigger.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, there are the times that I've been extra focused on more of, like, my spiritual journey, and I
Those are
think
the times when it's happened?
yes. So I do feel like there were spiritual
Oh
attacks.
god.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's kinda interesting. I don't know.
I don't like it. I don't like it. Well, I
No.
don't think it's gonna happen to you again.
Yeah, I hope it's not my time, and if it is, like, I feel like I am
You're like,
strong enough
"Fuck
to
you,
ward whatever it
Annelise."
is away.
Yeah.
But, yeah, don't wanna bring that stuff in, so hopefully
No.
this experience won't.
Yeah. We can try to do some cleansing stuff after because I think we'll need it.
I agree.
I think even talking about this stuff is scary. So,
Yeah, to a certain extent, just, like, draws energy in.
yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
I think that's a great way to start the episode, kind of not ease us into it because it's not gonna be an easy episode, but
Yeah, and I don't know anything about sleep paralysis, so, again, I'm not sure if what I experienced technically was, but it will
yeah.
be interesting to now hear you dive into these stories to hear if they're similar at all to
I
mine
think
or
once you hear some of the stories, you will be like, "Holy
relate.
shit," like, yeah, like, it's definitely
Oh,
sleep paralysis. So, the majority of this episode is going to be diving into the stories that are in this documentary. The stories are chilling.
ugh,
Chilling. So, there are 8 people in this documentary that they talk to, men and women, different races, and we're just gonna go through the people one by one and talk about their stories. They each kind of talked about multiple stories and their experience with it overall, which was pretty cool to get all those perspectives. I did cut out, I think, one person from the podcast episode just because they didn't have as much to say as, like, all the other people.
okay,
So, one person is missing. The documentary is called The Nightmare, and I watched it on Amazon Prime. It is from 2015.
okay.
Yeah. Going into preparing for this episode, I was not expecting to be.
So spooked.
Yeah, I really wasn't. I had no idea what I was, like, getting myself into.
Ooh, it sounds like a good documentary.
Yeah, it's really good. I would say 10 out of 10, recommend.
Oh, maybe I'll have to watch it.
Yeah, maybe, if you're not too scared.
Yeah, if I'm not too freaked out after this.
So, we're gonna start with Chris. Is our first character here. Chris talks about his first kind of weird experience, not necessarily sleep paralysis, but he did have something odd happen to him as a child.
Hmm.
When he was around 5 years old, he was standing in the living room while his mom was tending to his little brother. They had just gotten out of the shower. So he was just kind of waiting for them in the living room and he was watching the TV. And the news was playing. And while he was staring at the TV, the news anchor seemed to suddenly address him directly. Like the news anchor was
What?
talking to him. And the news anchor said, quote, "Don't worry, everything's going to be okay. And one day we'll be back." End quote.
What?
That's what he remembers. So he hears the news anchor say this. He screams for his mom.
I'd be so tripped out.
Oh my God, yeah. He's probably like, what the fuck is going
Yeah.
on? So he screamed for his mom. The TV went back to normal newscasting by the time she came over to him. So it wasn't like it could be proven or the mom saw it or whatever. So he had this weird experience. And that was kind of the beginning of his sleep paralysis journey. A
Hmm.
lot of people have some kind of experiences with it as kids,
Hmm.
or some people also start to have them in their 20s, but it seems more of like the younger, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like it starts when you're on the younger side, typically.
Interesting.
Yeah. So in the early days of him having sleep paralysis, he described his episodes as everything looks like it's moving, all the darkness is alive, and he remembers seeing people or beings or shadow figures coming into his room, and they didn't do anything. He thought that they were real during the paralysis episodes, as most people do, but
Mhm.
then when he woke up, they weren't there.
Mhm.
And seeing those figures while he's having these episodes, he can't move, which is one of the characterizations of sleep paralysis.
That's such an awful feeling.
Yeah. So that was kind of the early on stuff. He said that later in his life, he watched the movie Insidious for the first time and saw the characters experiencing shadow figures and having out of body experiences. And he thought, this is about sleep paralysis.
Oh,
Isn't that so scary?
yeah.
He said that the movie kind of annoyed him, I think, because it's maybe hard to think about that stuff when you're not experiencing it. Like he's watching this movie, like, oh my God, like here I am watching a movie and it's like kind of about sleep paralysis and it's scary.
Yeah.
But then there's a part in Insidious where I guess I haven't seen the movie, but I guess one of the characters does this thing where he like shakes his head back and forth. Have you seen the movie?
Gosh, I have, but I can't really recall that scene.
Okay.
It's been a little while.
This guy, he like shakes his head back and forth, and he said that he could relate to that feeling of like shaking your head back and forth to like try to get your body to move or try to get out
Mm.
of this like kind of situation with a dark entity. His girlfriend said that that's what he looks like when he's trying to come out of sleep paralysis.
Oh. So he
Oh,
shakes his head when he's coming out of sleep
so
paralysis?
he said that sometimes when he's waking up, his jaw will move side to side really fast.
Ew.
I know. Or his head will shoot from side to side.
Like like back and forth.
I guess so.
Ew.
Yeah. Very, very creepy.
Yeah, that creeps me out.
Yeah. He said certain things have helped him have less frequent episodes. For example, leaving the TV on made him less likely to have a paralysis episode, but it stopped working after a year. And he
Mhm.
said that he would I think, mute the TV, but there would still be this like background. I don't know if it's like not static, but like this background electrical noise that he thought would help, that he thought was the
Oh.
thing that was helping. So anyways, he had a TV and did this for a year. It stopped working. He then tried 2 TVs.
So this guy was experiencing sleep paralysis so often
Yeah.
that the longest he had gone was that year.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like a lot, like all the time. Some of the people in this documentary are like, I was having it every single night.
Oh, that's miserable.
Isn't this I mean, it sounds terrible.
Yeah, that sounds like a really terrible way to live.
Yeah. So he tried 2 TVs and that worked for a while. And then he ended up continuing to escalate with the amount of TVs that he had. So we had like a whole ass like collection of TVs just to try to stop the sleep paralysis from happening. And he realized like this is not healthy. Like this isn't normal.
Oh my gosh, you know what's, like, coming to my mind when you say this?
What?
Is, like, the Winchester Mystery House. You know how she felt like she needed to keep building?
Yeah.
That's like the TVs, he just kept feeling like he needed another TV.
Yeah,
Oh
exactly.
my gosh.
So he eventually removed them all because he was like, this isn't like, I can't live like this. And he said all it did was, quote, leave him with a stronger and more elaborate sleep paralysis, end quote, after getting rid of the TVs.
Wow.
He said that he felt like if you try to avoid it, it will find you and make it happen somehow.
I'm not gonna sleep tonight.
I know, and we're only, like, partway through one of the stories. It gets really scary.
Ugh.
As time went on, the dreams evolved into more elaborate situations. He had recurring dreams of a place with very angular buildings and like random staircases. And in one of these dreams, he was an adult, but a childhood friend approached him in the dream. And he was with this like big orange haired guy that Chris didn't know, a stranger. He'd never seen him before. And then his childhood friend told the big guy that he was with, this is him.
What?
Yeah, like, about Chris, like, "This is him," and then his friend left. So now it's just the big guy with Chris, and he says to Chris, "You know who I am."
Weird.
And Chris was trying to figure out how he knew him. He was asking, "Do I know you from school? Do I know you from work? Do I know you from wherever?" And the big guy said, "No, but you know who I am."
Ew, like an entity that's been, like, attached to him.
Yeah. And then after he said that, the whole world in his dream disappeared, and he was in the strongest sleep paralysis of his life, back in his room.
Mm.
He had his first experience with pain during sleep
You
paralysis.
can experience pain?
None of the other stories have pain like this in them, but I guess you can. He said that there was a metal claw, like a machine that was coming toward him, and he was feeling pain.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then I think part of the documentary said that this metal claw thing has happened like to other people as well. Like it's not just him that has like experienced something like that.
That is so weird. That's, like, a very specific
Right?
a metal claw.
Right? Very specific thing. And then when he woke up, he's feeling this pain. He could still feel pain when he woke up, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And then he didn't go back to sleep after that, obviously. He said that the sleep paralysis went to a whole other level once that pain situation happened. He started to feel crazy and like something was wrong with him. He said he kept having dreams with what he thought was the same entity, but in different bodies and different characters.
It
It,
probably was.
yeah, and then think back to when he was a kid and it said, "Will be back," or something. I have chills. Oh, I have chills thinking about it. Oh my God.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah. So it gets worse. This is the scariest story of his that he told.
Oh my gosh.
Next. One night during his college days, he had a group of friends that slept over in his small apartment. So they were all sleeping in tight quarters, like they were all sharing a bed or a couch or whatever. And he had a sleep paralysis episode that night. He described that a tall entity with red eyes said, quote, "You know who I am. You don't know who I am right now, but I know you and you know me. You are going to die," end quote.
Oh my gosh. I literally just got chills.
I know. It's really, really creepy. And then all of a sudden, one of the girls that was sleeping over screamed and woke up. She said she saw something on her chest. It was a cat with red eyes, and it was looking at Chris, talking in a language that she couldn't understand.
You are kidding
I'm
me.
not kidding. Oh my God, I have such crazy chills right now.
Oh my gosh. The fact that, like, someone else was there to watch that happen too, to validate,
Yeah,
because, I mean, could you imagine, like, being him? He probably felt like he was going insane.
yeah,
Like, do I have schizophrenia? Do I have, like, he was probably going insane, and
yeah.
then to have someone else validate that too, almost is like, I don't know if that's, like, a worse feeling, because then I would rather be, like, almost put on meds
Right.
to
Like a
than be told,
fixable
like,
problem.
yeah, a fixable problem than to be told, like, "Hey, no, there's, like, this cat was, like, talking to you," and, like,
Yeah. He said when he heard her say that it had red eyes, he knew that there was
sheesh.
some connection there. So it was on top of her, but threatening Chris, and he said he was freaking out. At that point, it's like he's knowing for sure that this isn't just in his brain because his friend has the same experience at the same time, seeing an entity. So it's got to be something outside of them.
Yeah,
Ugh.
that is actually really insane.
Mhm.
Wow.
Mhm. Really, really creepy. This experience made him really wanna figure out what's going on, which I would too. I would be
Yeah.
like, "I need to figure out what's going on or I'm gonna
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I can't do this."
Well, to live that way too, where he was experiencing it all the time, I mean, I really wouldn't be able to continue.
Yeah. It seems like a lot of the people in this documentary do think that it's something in the spiritual realm or something dark happening.
Mhm.
He was saying that he felt like the experiences were like peeling back a cellophane wrapper of this dimension or like reality,
Hmm.
like peeling back and like seeing a glimpse into another, I don't know, whatever
Another, like,
dimension
dimension,
or
yeah.
yeah. And he kind of alluded to the fact that at first that with his sleep paralysis, he was kind of curious about this stuff and it was interesting to him, but then once this darker stuff with the pain and with this experience when that started happening, he was like, I'm not curious anymore. Like this is just so scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said that he believes these experiences will be the reason why he doesn't wake up one day.
Dude, think about all the people that die in their sleep.
Ugh.
Like, that freaks me out. That actually sends me to, like, a whole 'nother, like, concept too,
Yeah.
because I always, like, wonder about that kinda stuff, but
Yeah.
that's really sketchy.
Yeah. So that's all I have for Chris.
Poor Chris.
Yep. Poor Chris.
Man.
Pretty scary. Pretty scary when
So
to
did it
start.
ever get better for Chris, or there was no happy ending to that?
Um, a lot of these there is one with a happy-ish ending, but most of these don't really have a happy ending because it's an ongoing problem
Okay,
that they're
well,
having.
let's pray that this isn't gonna be an ongoing problem for me.
No, 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 no. It's not going to be. Okay, next we're gonna talk about this guy named Jeff. Jeff explains a story where he had a girlfriend that opened up to him about having sleep paralysis and said that she felt like an evil presence was tormenting her.
Mhm.
He kind of thought she was crazy, but a week later, he started experiencing sleep paralysis for himself.
No. Like, she spread it to him.
Like laughing but crying.
Oh my
Uh,
god.
yeah, like she fucking spread the disease to him. He describes his first experience with it happening. I'm going to read in quotes like what he said about it, his exact description. He said, quote, "Just as I was about to drift off, I felt my body become extremely heavy. It was like I fell asleep but then woke up at the same instant and my whole body started tingling. It just felt like really weighted down, like something was pulling me, and I heard this sound. It wasn't like outside of my head, but it was like inside of my head, and it sounded like a washing machine. Just kind of like out of balance or something, like banging against the wall and just really terrifying me. I kind of started freaking out and started seeing things, and it was just really bizarre." And then the producer said, "What did you see?" He said, "It was kind of like all these different colors, like a laser light show or something, like I was flying through a time warp. It had all these colors shooting at me with the light itself. And I had found that I had zero control over my body. Like, no matter how I tried, I couldn't move my arms, my legs, nothing. So I really started to have a panic attack because I had no idea what was going on. I thought I was dead. I thought it was like a stroke or something. Nothing worked. I couldn't move. I had no control over anything."
Wow.
He said he eventually gathered all of his strength and flipped over, like, onto his girlfriend. He, like, got his body to flip over, and he woke up. But when he woke up, he was still laying in the same position, like, he hadn't flipped over. He just was awake,
Weird.
yeah, in his same position. And it was like none of that had happened.
You know, it really makes me, like, kind of wonder that the concept or the idea that there's different realms and, like, maybe during sleep paralysis, like, you are stuck almost between 2, and you haven't quite made it over back to this realm yet, so that's why you can't, like, quite wake up.
Mhm.
That's actually really interesting because he mentioned, like, feeling like he was going through that time warp
Yeah.
and then taking all his strength. Because when you're in that state too, it feels like it literally takes everything
Yeah.
in you to have the slightest bit of strength that would have you
To move
in your
or
day-to-day.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I like that theory.
Yeah.
I thought this one was interesting too because it wasn't a dark entity, it was, like, other weird stuff
Yeah,
going on.
yeah.
He said that the episodes kept happening night after night for almost a month. He thought he was having mini strokes or seizures, And then he actually didn't tell his girlfriend about it for like a whole month. And then once he finally told her, she was like, "Oh, that's what's been happening to me. That's what I meant when I was telling you about sleep paralysis."
They were probably getting abducted by aliens.
And, that's another people make that connection of, like, sleep paralysis is really getting abducted by aliens. So,
Interesting.
yeah, that is a thing people say. He went to the doctor. He got a CT scan and an EEG, which measures, like, the electrical waves in your brain. The EEG had an abnormal reading,
Hmm,
which I guess can show sleep paralysis depending on, like, the activity in it. So, his doctor, like, talked to him about sleep paralysis. He said, "Try to reduce your stress, change your lifestyle, whatever." That's
interesting.
what doctors will say typically is, stop drinking caffeine, try to exercise, eat healthy, like, do all the things that you can have to have the healthiest lifestyle you can. That's what they will
So do they
recommend.
believe that it's just because your body's, like, overstimulated?
Yeah, because it's connected to certain like, sleep paralysis is connected to I'll go into it at the end, but it's connected to different diseases or states of being. I don't know how to explain what I'm saying, but I will get into that.
Okay.
At one point, he thought he grew out of it, but then one day he laid down to take an afternoon nap and something happened again. He fell asleep and felt a tingling sensation over him, and he started seeing pixelated colors, and he knew that this was a warning sign that something was going to happen.
Hmm.
He sat up to shake it off before it fully set in, so he tried to stop it. He laid back down and started going to sleep, but just as he was going to sleep, his phone started to ring. He answered it, and someone said hello. He said it sounded staticky, like he couldn't hear them very well and the service wasn't good. So he got up to like get a cigarette in the other room with his phone. And when he walked out to the living room, the signal cleared up and he could hear a pleasant man very clearly on the phone. And the man said, "Hello, I was wondering if you could do me a favor." And Jeff replied, "What favor?" And then in a demonic voice, the person on the phone said, "Let me in."
Oh, no.
I I know. Are you getting so scared?
Oh my gosh,
Ugh.
yeah.
Jeff threw his phone and broke it into pieces, and he said it then felt like an earthquake started and his body was vibrating, and he felt like something was trying to pull his soul out, he said.
Ew.
He started Sorry, this is so scary. He started asking God for help. Once he said that, he said it felt like someone yanked him from behind and slammed him back down into his bed.
Hmm.
He sat up and looked around, and he was awake again. He looked at his phone, and there was no evidence of any of this happening. His phone was totally fine. It wasn't broken or whatever. And it had only been about 2 minutes since he laid down to take a nap.
That's insane.
Isn't that so crazy?
Wow.
Yeah.
I really believe that's an evil entity.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, there's no way that that is some scientific reason. There's no
Mm-mm.
way.
That's that's insane.
Yeah, it's really insane.
Poof.
I know. This is a tough episode, honestly.
Yeah. I know, I'm afraid to go to sleep. I'm gonna stay awake all night. And what's interesting too is that, some of these people have stories of going to sleep during the day too. Like
Mhm.
that guy was taking a nap during the day, which one of the things I was gonna say is like I wonder for these people that really struggle is if they were to try to sleep during the day
Mhm.
and like stay awake during the night almost.
But
But like clearly that doesn't matter.
so he told his mom about the experience and she said that he was crazy and it was just a dream. He said he also started to live a healthier lifestyle, but it didn't help at all. So he stopped drinking caffeine. He started exercising, doing all that stuff. It didn't help. He said, quote, "I don't believe the medical explanation or the physiological stuff. There's got to be way more to it," end quote.
Mhm.
And then he told a friend about his sleep paralysis experiences one time. And then the next night, it happened to her. She texted him, like, "What the fuck? Why did you do this to me?"
Okay, wait. So wasn't he initially told by another
Yeah,
friend?
he was told
So
by
it
his girlfriend.
literally like okay, did that friend ever stop experiencing it, the first one that told him about it?
I don't know. He doesn't, like, go back to that or anything.
Oh, I wonder if it's like something they're like passing down.
Oh
That's
my god, that's
creepy.
so creepy.
Or it's just like, I don't know, an infection that's like spread.
Yeah.
Dude, that's creepy.
Yeah. All right, next with the stories, we have Anna. Her sleep paralysis started around 29 years old, and she says she would start feeling tingling in her feet and it would rise up her body, and she would hear buzzing, like
Mm.
bees, like a buzzing sound. Similar to everyone else's sleep paralysis experience, she said, I felt my mind was awake, but my body was stiff. During her episodes, she would hear tapping on her window.
Ew.
I know, I know,
Oh my
I
gosh.
know.
That's awful.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. So she would hear tapping on the window. She would open her eyes and look toward the window, and then it would stop. She said, quote, after a while, I started feeling an actual presence. I would feel this presence right next to me trying to take my soul out. It would torture me at night and I would try to fight it, end quote. She also described floating up out of her body into the air and she could see herself, but when she was looking at herself, she was kind of blurry. So, like a out of body experience.
Wow.
And she said that these episodes happened for many years. At one point, she went to a tarot reader, and the reader told her, quote, I'm trying to look into your house, but I see this black shadow over it, end quote.
Dude, I'd move.
Right?
I
No.
would leave.
Immediately, I would leave.
Yeah, I'd be
Yeah.
done.
Yeah. Okay, this next experience of hers is pretty crazy, pretty weird. One time, she felt this evil presence crawl into her bed. She said it was on top of her and started having sex with her.
Oh my gosh.
She was confused. She said she couldn't see anything, but it was a feeling, and then it stopped. And I've heard of ghosts having sex with people before. I've heard other stories of
Mhm.
that, but that's just
That's awful. I
awful.
definitely have heard stories similar to that as well. And I also have so many conspiracies surrounding that
Mhm.
too.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you think?
I don't know. Like I feel like what if there's like a way like I'm sure you've heard of like invisible cloaks, right?
Yeah.
Like as silly as that sounds.
Yeah.
But like evil presence or but they're walking among us. Like but they're able to disappear, but they're here.
Yeah.
And just like an evil entity, really, but they are physical in a sense because they really are here, but
Mhm.
we can't physically see them. So, yeah, they're like, I mean, almost more like alienistic
Uh-huh. Like an actual solid
being
yeah.
that's here, but we just can't see them.
Mhm.
But it's not a good one.
You know what? I was thinking about texting you this, but I was gonna tell you you should watch the or not watch. You should listen to the episode about the Miami Mall incident with
Ah,
the potential aliens and, like, the glitching and stuff, because in some ways I can see connections between that whole story and then some of these. So you should
yeah.
listen to that and see what you think. But
Honestly, I will because I mean, there's so much talk, like, it sounds silly, but, I mean, think about how much has been talked about, even on the news, about aliens as, like, time has come forward, and we call them aliens, but really other beings, okay, that
right.
are among us.
Yeah.
And, like, you think about it, and whatever those beings are, maybe there are other beings among us,
Mhm.
and whether or not we see them, I mean, we could be affected by them on much more of a level than we realize,
Yeah.
and maybe that's why it's starting to be talked about more on the news and stuff
Yeah.
or out in the world because maybe it's not such a conspiracy after all.
Yeah.
And then you hear about, like, I don't know if you've ever heard stories about, like, African voodoo stuff.
Not a lot.
Oh, that's another wormhole to go down, but, like, that kinda stuff freaks me out too because it kinda goes along with the whole entity thing and
African voodoo?
oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe
That's a
we'll
whole
have to do an episode about that.
yeah, but, I mean, not to make this whole thing spiral, but it just that's where my mind goes is
Mhm.
like, yeah, I believe women can be or men too, could be
Mhm.
taken advantage of in all different kinds of ways.
Yeah.
That's such an awful thing.
Yeah. Really, honestly, it's sad. It's
Yeah.
really, really sad. I
But, like, something that's another way of it taking control and it being inside of you.
yeah,
What an awful, awful thing.
absolutely awful. Okay, Anna's next story, she talks about how after her mom died, she was very depressed. One night she came home from work and went to sleep, and she laid on her side. Her body started going numb, but she said it felt different than usual. because at this point, she's used to what's gonna happen when she has a sleep paralysis episode.
Mhm.
She was frozen like usual, but heard someone walking toward her and then walking around behind her back. But she couldn't move. She felt them lay down next to her and hug her. And she said she even heard the bed like depress when it got into bed with her.
Mm.
And she said she felt like it was her mom. And the voice that was hugging her said, "Honey, I'm here. I'm here." Anna said this presence felt very different from the past evil presence, and the experience only lasted for a matter of seconds. She said it happened again 2 to 3 times, but sometimes she felt like it would switch from her mother to another presence, the scary one. And she said, quote, "I don't know if it's the thing that used to haunt me back then or if it's still her." End quote.
Weird. So, like, it's still her as in her mom?
Yeah.
'Cause did her mom pass, you said?
Yeah, her mom died.
I believe it's probably both. It's probably good and evil both. Her mom's trying to be there for her,
Yeah,
the
or her
good.
mom's maybe even trying to protect her.
Yeah, it's probably both.
Because I hear about dreams, visitation dreams where a loved one comes to you in a dream, and I know
Mhm.
some are fake, some could be real, but I haven't heard someone being paralyzed when it's, like, their loved one.
That is true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
'cause I feel like if it's good, like, you shouldn't ever feel any harm in any such way.
yeah, like, scared.
You're right, and even that including being paralyzed.
Mhm.
But maybe when you go into that paralyzed state, it's because you are more vulnerable?
Yeah, it's also there's a scientific reason
Ah,
behind it, which we'll get into because it's something called muscle atonia, which happens to us in our sleep,
hmm.
so we'll talk about that. I figured it'd be good to discuss after so we can kind of, like
Try to logic it out.
yeah. Okay. That's all of her stories. We're
Oh,
gonna move on to Corinne. Corinne starts out her dialogue with saying, "I've always had a problem with slipping in and out of different states of consciousness." She remembers her first bizarre experience from when she was 2 or 3 years old. She said there was a plug-in nightlight in her bedroom. It was orange colored. And one night the room turned red, like a red glow,
mm.
and she felt something was coming after her. She covered herself and tried to hide and was scared. And later in life, she would lay down at the end of the day to go to sleep, and she often felt like she was drugged. She said her body felt so sleepy and her body would feel like it was shutting down, but not her consciousness. She would feel a vibration. She said sometimes like being electrocuted. And she began hearing voices and screams, crying, yelling, negative emotions, like different
Mm.
voices, and then a shadow man would come toward her. She described it as like a shadow but 3D, and she said, quote, "He brought the vibration with him as if it was emanating from him," end quote. And it just would come closer to her, and she said she would, quote, "hear all the sounds of hell," end
I was
quote.
just gonna say hell, like, that's what it makes me think of.
Right, exactly. And she said she would feel the shadow man's awful vibration. In 7th or 8th grade, she went to see Nightmare on Elm Street with her mom, and she thought, wow, other people understand sleep paralysis, and she could see those themes in the movie. I also haven't seen Nightmare on Elm Street.
I don't think I have either.
Yeah. I also think it's interesting, like, having it as a baby.
Yeah.
Like, there's a 5-year-old. She was 2 to 3 years old when this happened.
Yeah, and to remember that vividly,
Yeah.
that's pretty insane.
Okay, moving on. We have Stefan. Stefan went right into describing his experiences. He said, quote, "When you've fallen asleep, you'll get an electric shock. That's the indication that you'll have a visit that night," end quote.
So, almost every story is, like, electric.
Right?
Like, there's some sort of like, there's energy there,
Yeah.
right? Like, energy,
Or
energy.
vibrating.
Vibrations,
Yeah.
yeah.
Tingling.
That's so interesting. Hmm.
Yeah, very interesting. Just like everyone else, when sleep paralysis would happen, he would fall asleep, he would wake up paralyzed, and he said that there was, quote, static in the room and you're being visited, describing it as static. I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah, the static part creeps me out.
Spirit static.
Yeah.
Stefan said figures would circle his bed and try to touch him, including a 3D shadow figure. which is interesting. He described it as a 3D shadow, just like the last lady described it.
Hmm.
He had 3 figures that would be in his sleep paralysis dreams in a recurring way. That was a weird sentence. But he would have the 3D shadow figure, a hat man, which he said was very menacing, who was in charge of the other figures.
A hat man because he wore a hat?
Yeah, he wore a hat. He said they're a team, it's hell, and they all start on an electrical shock.
Wow.
Yeah. One time he went to bed with his girlfriend. He was playing on his phone for a bit and then he fell asleep. He woke up and felt like he was in an oppressive atmosphere. And he described it as the quote, staticky presence of evil, end quote. He turned and saw his girlfriend in bed, and he also could see himself with his eyes open and with labored breathing, so like an out-of-body experience. He said he was confused and he couldn't think straight. He then saw 3 beings, the usual 3, in the corner of his room. 2 shadow people physically came toward him and started attacking him, like physically.
Oof.
He said he retreated right away, and when he did that, the 2 shadow figures that attacked him backed up and hid behind the Hat Man, and the Hat Man shielded them.
Wow.
Yeah. He said he knew he needed to get back into bed after this happened. He turned around toward his bed and he saw a long silver thread going toward his body. And as soon as he decided he needed to get back in his body, he shot up in his bed.
Okay, what's it called? I'm totally blanking, but the silver cord, right? When you can get in that state where you can leave your body.
Oh,
Um,
like astral projection?
Thank you.
Okay.
So what I think about too is sometimes people that maybe are more prone to this, it's just another hypothetical theory, is maybe they don't realize they're astral projecting.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I also believe that's why some people die in their sleep because like they don't know how to get back to their body with that
Oh,
silver cord. But like this guy, it sounds like he was astral projecting.
I've never heard of the silver cord.
Okay, my grandpa used to like always go into all this stuff because he used
Oh,
to like
really?
practice it regularly.
Okay.
Yeah. It's an interesting concept.
Like there's a silver cord that you can kind of.
You have to stay connected to it because if you don't, you cannot find your way back to your body.
Oh.
It's pretty scary.
That is pretty scary. Have you
Yeah.
done that before?
Not intentionally.
But you have? Low key?
Low key, I have. Not intentionally. But I've definitely gotten to the point where like, like seeing my body outside my body. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
many times I've experienced that.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
Could you see the silver thing?
No, because like, I wasn't intentionally doing it, and I think the silver cord thing is, like, an intentional I think it's a very intentional thing that you do. I was, like, in that dreamlike state when I was doing it.
Okay.
I would never intentionally do that because to me, it's a really sketchy thing to do, and I don't mess around with that kinda stuff,
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
yeah, it's an interesting concept because that's what it sounds like to me.
Mhm.
That guy was, like, astral projecting.
For sure. So that happened. He said he stayed up all night and like on watch because his girlfriend was there, and he said he knew they were there. Like he felt like they were still there. So he like just stayed up and watched.
That's weird that they got scared of him too
I know, right? Like
when he
he
went back to his
retreated
body.
and then they retreated behind the Hat Man.
The Hat Man.
The Hat
I wonder
Man.
what kind of hat he had on.
Me too. Okay, we have 2 more people. Next, we have Connie. Connie has a pretty crazy story. She said she was 5 or 6 years old when it started happening to her. And then I think it stopped for a bit, and then it happened again when she was 15 years old. She described herself as a rebellious teen. She was out of control. She felt unloved, and she had a brokenness inside, is how she described herself. She describes a sleep paralysis episode and says that she was wide awake with her eyes open. She could feel an evil presence behind her while she was laying on her side, facing away from the door. Then she could feel the presence just come up right behind her, but she could not move or turn around because she was frozen, so she couldn't turn and look at it. And she was describing how scary this feeling is, which you know. She
Mhm.
said, if I could describe what death would feel like, dot, 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 like it was like so scary. And she said, it's like a horror worse than like in the movies. She said, it's an icy cold, dark evil. Something is in the room and it's watching me, and it wants you to feel afraid, and it's making you afraid.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Does that sound like kind of like what you experienced too?
I would say it wants you to feel afraid, and you do feel afraid, but, like, if you don't and you fight back, that's where you can combat it. Because
Totally.
fear, and you mentioned that earlier to me, is
Mhm.
fear is what it feeds on.
I said that because it gets mentioned in here too.
Mhm.
So,
I'm a
we're
strong
not
believer in
afraid of
that.
you bitches.
Exactly. You're not afraid.
Yeah. She also said that when she was in college and she had a roommate, she would see blobs of black coming onto her bed during sleep paralysis, and she couldn't move and she couldn't speak. She couldn't call out to her roommate for help.
Mhm.
And then her last story that she tells is as follows. Connie says that she would hear a certain noise before episodes started, and she hated it. She said it sounded like demons screaming, and then a buzzing would start.
All these stories are so similar.
Right? I have chills.
Wow.
I have chills right now.
Yeah, that's insane. Like,
Yeah.
just so many commonalities.
So in this last story she tells, she said she could sense a presence standing over her, and she heard a sound like someone was screaming in her ear. She describes
Oof.
being able to sense the color red, like they were wearing something red. She tried to look at the face, but she couldn't because she could not move her head. She didn't know what to do, and she was trying to think about what she could do to get this to stop. And she said, "In Jesus' name, get out." Or she said,
Mhm.
"Jesus," or something having to do with Jesus. She said she didn't remember exactly what she said. And then the presence left and was gone. And after that, it never, ever came back. She never had another episode. And at the time, she wasn't even religious.
That's crazy you say that because when I was telling you about, like, me praying in my dream and stuff, I swear when you say the name Jesus, like, it fears that, it will not come around that. It doesn't want anything to do with that. So, like, it absolutely
Like, you've done that too?
I
Oh
have.
my God.
Oh, yeah. I pray in Jesus' name. Like, leave me alone. I am protected by Jesus, and it goes away. It stops. And I
What the
believe I
fuck?
do
Oh my
that's
God,
why
I'm
I'm
so
such a firm
scared.
believer of both good and evil,
Oh my
because
God,
I
I'm so
really
scared.
do think that when you are faced with evil, if you aren't afraid of it and you come forward with good, it freaks out.
Yeah, it's like, okay, bye.
It doesn't want anything to do with that. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's really interesting.
yeah. She said that she became Christian later in life, and she believes that sleep paralysis has to do with the spiritual realm and demonic activity.
Mhm.
Last guy is named Forrest. His first sleep paralysis experience was when he was 1.5 years old, and he said that this was his first memory ever.
How is that even possible?
Right?
Huh.
Right? He lived in an 100-year-old farmhouse in the middle of the woods. It's funny that you just said that.
Yeah.
Like, not on the podcast, but we were just talking about, a barn and a farm area and hauntings in the barn, so that's kind of crazy that you just said that. He said that he woke up in his crib and couldn't move. He saw two, quote, anthropomorphic anthropomorphic beings, so, like, human-shaped,
Hmm.
I guess is what that means. And he described their skin as television static. So again, there's that concept of static.
Yes. Like, this is like a frequency or a vibration, a different state.
Yeah. Like, it has to do with energy.
Yes.
Yeah. He said they were tall and thin with simple faces, long limbs, and the faces were cartoon-like with big inky eyes and a smile.
Ew, a smile.
He said they had long, slender, tickling fingers, and they were tickling him, but he was paralyzed, and they were laughing. Imagine this being your first memory.
Oh,
Imagine the trauma of this being your first memory.
and what torture it is to be tickled.
Yeah. Oh my God, and you're frozen.
I actually read a thing about tickling, and it was talking about how, like, you're actually in fight or flight because
Yeah.
it's not like you're not laughing because it feels good
Yeah.
or it's like silly. It's torture. Like, I'm ticklish. I
Yeah.
hate it.
Me too. So do I. Maddie's banned from, like, I'm not even kidding.
She's banned.
She's banned from tickling. Like,
Yeah.
it's not
No, I
funny.
hate being tickled. So I can only imagine that poor guy.
Yeah. Being tickled during sleep paralysis is crazy.
And with smiling
Oh
beings.
my God. According to his parents, he kept repeating the word Zines after this. Zines. I have no idea what that means, but he would say this word over and over in a panicked way, like Zines, Zines. Isn't that weird?
Wait, repeat that?
Zine. Signs.
So he said he would
The
repeat.
baby. The baby was saying that his parents told him he would say that. He like started saying that.
Wow.
I want to look up if that's even like a word. I don't think it is.
Signs. This is very specific too, which is even more fascinating.
Oh. It says a zine is a small self-published booklet or magazine made for personal expression rather than profit. Weird. I don't know. Never heard of it.
Yeah, me neither.
After this, he wouldn't sleep in his crib anymore. And then at 10 years old, sleep paralysis started happening every day of his life.
Oh, poor
I
baby.
know, he's just a 10-year-old kid.
Yeah.
He said no one took him seriously. He heard voices talking to him, and he said that it was, like, abusive, these voices.
Oh,
Isn't this so sad?
that is really sad.
And then, like, no one's getting you help or taking you seriously. He said sleep paralysis would happen to him in different settings or different houses, so it wasn't just in a certain place, and
Hmm.
that the voices differed from place to place.
That actually is good to hear because I was wondering with some of these stories, especially that one we were talking about, that girl being in her house. Like I just think about like, well, what if they were in a different environment?
Right.
So it's interesting hearing him.
That he still was, like, having the experience.
Mhm.
At one point, he lived in Boston, and he said he would hear a middle-aged woman singing in a baby voice, but eventually that went away, so that was just another weird, like, little character thing he would hear.
So
It's
creepy.
almost seems like schizophrenia,
Mhm.
but I don't know, I'm not gonna diagnose him with anything, especially if it's just when he's sleeping, like sleep paralysis.
Right.
But it sounds some of the things that people are saying sound like
A little bit schizophrenia.
yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard a recording of what people with schizophrenia hear?
No.
Dude,
Uh,
if you have never heard that, you should, like, look it up because
is it like evil sounds and
it's, like,
stuff?
pretty crazy. It depends. People hear different things, so it just depends on the person, but there's some crazy stuff. When Forrest got a little older, he said his dad was watching the movie Communion, which is an alien movie with Christopher Walker. Have you seen that?
Mm-mm.
Okay, me either. But he realized the beings in that movie, he said, were similar to the things he saw in his sleep paralysis, like the beings with the inky eyes and all that stuff. It
Huh.
reminds me of the Miami Mall incident also.
Yeah.
So,
So some of these stories are kind of like alienistic as well.
yeah. One time he went back to visit the old farmhouse that he grew up in, and he had a sleep paralysis episode. He said there was a slumpy old man standing at standing at the end of his bed, and the man said, quote, oh, this is crazy. Said, quote, Forrest, you just came all over your mother. You just masturbated all over your mother's bed sheets. You're disgusting. A pervert. End quote.
Oh,
Isn't that so crazy? He said he didn't. He said he wasn't masturbating when this happened.
I wonder about the land itself.
Right? Like what happened on that?
Yeah.
On that property.
Yeah.
Forrest recognized the voice that said this to him and said it was the same voice that would talk to him as a child. So it has to do
Ooh.
with or it has to, you know,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. And then he tells this one last story. It's a little bit crazy. It's a little bit out there. He talks about a time in his life where he had a girlfriend that was very hippie and spiritual. And he said that she was crazy. I hate when men say that though.
Yeah.
I hate
Red flag.
when any man says a woman is crazy. I'm like,
Yep. It immediately makes you question them.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah. But he said that one night, him and his girlfriend walked out to the woods and collected some pebbles, and they laid them down, like, in a circle, like some sort of, like, spiritual I don't know if it was a spell or something. They laid the
Mhm.
pebbles in a circle and, quote, "decided to be receptive." And the girlfriend covered her eyes and was trying to feel whatever or hear whatever, and she said, "Something is coming." And then Forrest looked into the forest, and out came a blue form, and it was just like the black forms that he'd been seeing, like the shadow figures, but it was blue.
Mm.
And he said it seemed peaceful and nice. It walked up to about 6 feet away from them, and his girlfriend says, I believe she still has her eyes closed, she says, quote, "She says not to be worried about the demons behind you," end quote.
Oh my gosh.
So he turns around, he sees the demons, the alien-like faces that he's been seeing for his whole life, and in that moment, he had a realization, or he felt a thought in his head, like this thought just came into his head, and the thought was, "Fear empowers bad things.
Mhm.
Fear only gives evil things more strength." And after he had this realization, the blue figure disappeared, and then him and his girlfriend, like, left or whatever.
But what about
The
the
demons?
demons?
No idea.
'Cause wasn't the blue thing supposed to be the not scary presence?
I think the blue thing was there to tell him or give him this realization.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's what I got from that.
Hmm. That actually I like that.
Yeah.
Mm.
So those are all the stories,
Wow.
right?
I mean, there's so many variables. There's so many moving parts and so many connections between each story.
Yeah.
Wow.
Really, really, really fascinating.
Okay, let's
So,
hear the science behind it.
okay. First, let's just go over real quick some of the overarching themes that we noticed.
Mhm.
I noted some key words that were in multiple of the stories, like vibration, buzzing, electrocution, tingling, static, and that there's kind of like a sign that it's about to happen. Like they feel certain sensations and they know, oh, I'm going to have sleep paralysis. It's kind of like when if you get migraines and you have like an aura before a
Mhm.
migraine, you can tell you're going to get a migraine. That's what it kind of seems like.
Yeah, and that's really cool that you did the research on the keywords there with each
Yeah. Well, I
story.
just, like, notice because it's impossible not to notice they're all saying the same thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they did all feel that it was coming on too.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And then multiple people in the documentary mentioned how doctors talk about changing your lifestyle, being less stressed out, and or even if you see a psychiatrist, they ask you like, "Oh, well, what's going on at home?" Trying to find some type of reason to explain these nightmares. But I don't know. I don't really I don't know that that's something that's in our control.
Yeah, especially
So
hearing this happen to one of the victims, I'm gonna call them, at 1.5 years old.
right,
I mean, that's really early on.
right. And then another theme throughout the stories was that multiple people related to the horror movies they were watching.
Yes.
Like, "Oh, this reminds me of sleep paralysis," or, "Oh, this director must have had sleep paralysis and they know exactly what it feels like, and that's what this movie's about." I thought that was really
That
interesting.
is so creepy to me to think that every scary movie, that idea had to come from somewhere, right? So, well, it was maybe, like, someone went through it or was reported or someone has to be really demented to, like, come up with those things too.
Right, to think of
Like, just the evil the level of evil that's put
yeah,
into those movies.
yeah.
So, like, it's kinda crazy.
Yeah, it is kinda crazy to think about. Kinda makes me feel creeped out by you know what? Never mind. Most of them seem to think that it's something more than just some kind of sleep disorder. They
Mhm.
seem to think that it's something outside of us in the spiritual realm, allegedly.
I would agree with that. I mean,
Yeah,
it sounds like that to me.
I'm convinced. I'm absolutely convinced, especially with just even just the way that I felt researching all this and hearing the stories and how we felt talking about them,
Yes.
it gives you chills. It makes you feel so creeped out. There's no other way to say it.
It does.
Yeah.
And I will say, like, after hearing all these stories, I don't know if I experienced sleep paralysis ever. I mean, I never experienced that feeling coming on to me in the beginning, like these
Mhm.
people are talking about, or that static, or any of those feelings that people were talking about. For me, it was just that entity.
Mhm.
But
I don't
my
think it means that it wasn't sleep paralysis.
That's true.
'Cause, like, I think, it can be different for different people. Cause that I mean, yours still really does go along with the theme.
I was unable to speak, like,
Yeah.
I was holding back my voice,
I can't believe Jaden said it was like you were
hearing a
making
deer.
deer
I'm like, "I don't even know what a
noises.
deer sounds like." Yeah,
Oh.
so
Oh my
creepy.
gosh. Did he wake you up or no?
Yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah.
I didn't like the whole thing about telling someone else and then
Me
it happening for
neither.
them.
Me neither.
So, yeah, when that stuff was happening, I was like, "Okay, well, it better not happen to me because I've been researching this." Like, what?
Right.
Yeah. Not allowed, demons, not
No offense to
allowed.
that guy, but I wouldn't wanna be his friend. You know?
Yeah.
I don't want this to be passed on to me.
Yeah, right?
Oh.
The guy, Forrest, in the documentary does bring up the whole theory of alien abductions actually being sleep paralysis or
Mhm.
sleep paralysis being alien abductions, whatever way you want to put it. And with the shadow figures and other types of figures seen in sleep paralysis, it seems like there are the same archetypes for many people around the world
Hmm.
that have sleep paralysis. So why is everyone seeing the same stuff?
Right.
You know? Stefan from the documentary, I thought this was a cool quote. He said, "The physicist Michio Kaku said that maybe we don't live in just one dimension, that we live in multiple dimensions, and if you imagine a block of flats that is an infinite extension, it keeps adding to itself all the time and never stops, and every room of this block of flats is an entire universe, like ours, and in every other room there must be another universe. So, if that's true, maybe some of us have found our way into the hallway and they're knocking on our door," end quote.
Hmm.
It reminds me of Inception
Yes.
or, Interstellar. That's cool too.
Mhm.
Okay, now the science, and then we'll be done.
Okay.
Let's talk about scientifically what's going on. When someone is having sleep paralysis, their body is in between stages of sleep and wakefulness. And episodes often last anywhere from a few seconds to a few minutes up to 20 minutes. And it happens when you regain awareness going into or coming out of your REM cycle.
Ah.
When we are in REM sleep, our brainstem causes something called muscle atonia, which is kind of like paralyzing our muscles or preventing them from moving. And if I'm not wrong, our body does that because it wants to stop us from acting out our dreams because we're having dreams during our REM cycle.
Mhm.
And if we didn't have this muscle atonia, we would be acting out our
Oh, it would be
dreams.
crazy.
Right. And I think that's part of sleepwalking is when your body
Oh.
doesn't do that or it doesn't like line up correctly.
So, I guess the scientific explanation for all these people would then be they have a sleep disorder where they don't quite come fully out of that REM?
I don't know if it's let me continue.
Okay.
So, the amygdala, part of our brain, it's the brain's fear center. And that part of our brain is very active during REM sleep. The theory, this is not proven, but the theory of why sleep paralysis happens or how it happens is when someone partially wakes up but remains paralyzed, the brain can realize the body's paralyzed and misinterpret the paralysis as danger. And then the already active amygdala creates more fear because the body's paralyzed. And the brain tries to make sense of this fear by finding humanoid shapes and figures in vague shapes around the room. So, turning shadows or objects in the room into these characters or figures in order for your brain and your mind to make sense of the fear. So, basically, it's like your imagination. I don't buy this at
I don't
all.
buy that at all
Like, are
either.
you kidding me?
Yeah, I don't buy I think it like, if my brain were to associate fear, I would think of, like, drowning or, like right?
Yeah.
Like, not shapes and figures in my room.
Yeah.
Like
Or I guess it's because, like, if you're partially conscious and you can see your room, but, like, I still I don't know. I think
yeah,
it's a poor excuse for, an explanation of this.
I
No
agree.
offense,
I
scientists, but,
agree with you.
I mean, with all the stories we just heard too, like, no, there's
Mm-mm.
no way.
Mm-mm.
Another this is jumping back real quick to the themes from the different stories. I noticed the color red was brought up a couple times.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, back to facts. Around 30% of people have at least one episode in their lifetime. The exact cause for sleep paralysis is unknown. And then some conditions associated with sleep paralysis are narcolepsy, sleep deprivation, irregular sleep schedule, sleep apnea, mental health conditions, certain medications, and substance use disorder. So those are all associated with it. I mean, I've experienced half of the things on this list. I've never had, um, sleep paralysis.
I also wonder about these people. It'd be so interesting to do more of a study if they're more, I guess, more, if they all have, they're more vulnerable
Mhm.
in different ways of, how can I word this properly? Sorry, I'm trying to find the words. But like, if these people are more susceptible to picking up on different energy than just the average person. Right? Like maybe these people maybe have like a psychic side or a sixth sense of some sort,
Okay.
or maybe have an ability to maybe travel dimensions, but not even realize that they're doing it.
Mhm.
Um, because maybe that's something most of us lose as we age or
Mhm.
get more involved in the system.
Mhm.
But maybe these people still have that ability and just can't quite make it out or navigate it
The
correctly.
people that have sleep paralysis?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Or maybe they're just more likely to be seeing these things, but they're not sure what to make out of
Like,
it.
they can't make sense of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or in another life, they were psychic or a medium or whatever, and now it's their same soul but in a different body.
Or they were a really bad person and it's like coming after them.
Yeah,
Oh
or
my
it's
gosh.
karma.
Yeah, it's like karma. I'm sure all these people are really sweet people.
That's all I have,
Well, that is a very eerie concept.
right? It's worse than I thought. Far
Yeah.
it's far worse than I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah. There was actually a lot more on that topic than I was expecting there to be.
Yeah. Well, just mainly because I watched that documentary. If I hadn't watched it, I probably would have found a bunch of Reddit stories too, so we could read those,
Mhm.
but if you go on Reddit and search it, there's all kinds of stories there too. There's so many.
Ooh.
Yeah. I don't even want to though. I'm
Yeah,
like,
me neither.
I my sleep paralysis craving is fulfilled.
Yeah.
I don't need to see any more things about it. I'm like, I don't wanna think about it.
Nope.
Don't wanna talk about it, and we don't have to because 'cause we're done.
Yeah. And on that note,
And on that
let's
note,
not sleep tonight.
yeah, Maddie's not gonna be home when I go to bed, and
Oh,
so I
no.
know she's gonna get home at, like, 1:30 AM, so I am scared to go to bed,
We
but
better turn on a good movie,
yeah.
like, just something happy, like Friends, like a good show or
Yeah,
something.
for sure.
That's, like, my go-to is Friends.
Mhm. Okay, well, thank you for listening, everyone, whoever's listening. I'm praying for you to not have sleep paralysis ever in your life.
Absolutely.
Any last words?
Thank you for sharing that, and, on that note, I am going to pray before bed tonight and, probably turn on a good show.
Yeah, for sure. We're gonna say our prayers.
Yeah.
All right, good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
This podcast is sponsored by me.